Hey guys, welcome back to another sports stuff video. Today, we're talking about Aaron Glenn getting hired away from the Detroit Lions to the New York Jets to be the new head coach of the New York Jets. So if you guys do enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when I post next, and go in the description down below, click my link tree, follow me on all platforms. Let's get to this video. So Aaron Glenn gets signed away from the Lions. He's now the head coach of the New York Jets. That's exciting, right? I said before the offseason really started and before coaches were getting hired, I said Aaron Glenn to the Saints made the most sense. He was on their staff when Sean Payton was down there. He followed Dan Campbell over to Detroit. It made sense why he would go back to the Saints. However, I've got to think, oh yeah, he got drafted by the Jets. Like a first round pick by the Jets. So I completely forgot that. And that it should have been a very important note that he obviously went back to the team that he was drafted by, which is awesome. Aaron Glenn, he's a very good defensive coordinator. He's probably a top 10 defensive coordinator in the league. I don't know how much higher I would put him. Maybe fringe top 5. I think there's a lot of good defensive coordinators out there. Aaron Glenn, one of the best run games in the league, one of the best run defenses. The pass defense has always been a little iffy, but they never really invested heavily in the secondary. This year they did. It's just everyone got hurt, right? Terrion Arnold was the only starter at cornerback, and Brian Branch and Kerby Joseph were amazing this year. Like Kerby Joseph led the league in picks. Brian Branch was amazing as strong safety. So he developed the safeties. And Terrion Arnold got better as the year went on. He did lead the league in penalties, I believe. But again, he was a rookie, and he was the only one standing after week 18. Carlton Davis was hurt. Amik Robertson got hurt. Multiple guys got hurt, and they had Kendall Vildor, guys off the practice squad off the street playing corner for them in the playoffs. So I don't really put too much of the pass defense on him. He did the best he could, but the run defense was very good. They tried to invest in the offseason on getting Daron Payne. Eventually, they settled for DJ Reader. He gets hurt. Aiden Hutchinson, he gets hurt. Levi Onwuzurike, he gets hurt. Like, guys just kept getting injured. They traded for Za'Darius Smith. He was the only veteran starter at defensive end. He really did have like a top 10 run defense with a bunch of nobodies. And in New York, it's not a bunch of nobodies, right? New York has a lot of really good players. Let's even talk about it real quick. So New York Jets, obviously Aaron Glenn is the head coach. Defensively, Will McDonald and Jermaine Johnson at defensive end. You still have Hassan Riddick technically, but I don't know if he's going to come back. But you have Quinnen Williams, Fedarian Mathis at linebacker, Quincy Williams, Jamien Sherwood, they're definitely going to re-sign. CJ Mosley at corner. You have Sauce Gardner, Michael Carter, and a bunch of free agents. You have Chuck Clark and Jalen Mills at safety. They're the free agents. So Aaron Glenn can really make whatever he wants with this defense. Because on their defense, they only have they have 4 starters on their defense that are under contract next year. So if he wanted to, he could let Hassan Reddick, Javon Kinlaw, Jamien Sherwood, Chuck Clark, Jalen Mills, DJ Reed, and Isaiah Oliver. He could say bye-bye to all of them and make his own defense, right? And all you have to do is you move Jermaine Johnson down the starter. That fills one of the spots. You bring Fedarian Mathis up to a starter to replace Javon Kinlaw. That's a starter. CJ Mosley goes back to being a starter, and you draft some secondary guys. So if you wanted to, year one, it could be a completely different new defense. Offensively, it's going to be very interesting. The rumor is that Todd Haley, I think that was his name, Todd Haley, was the offensive coordinator. No, I'm looking. Maybe it is Todd Haley who I'm thinking of. I saw reports, because Todd Haley was the Browns' offensive coordinator there for a little while. Lions offensive line coach. That's who I'm thinking of. I can't. Hank Fraley. Sorry, Hank Fraley is being rumored for both the Lions, to stay and get promoted to offensive coordinator, for the Jets to poach him, and for the Bears to poach him underneath Ben Johnson. So that's a possibility, right? Grab Hank Fraley, who has really developed and sustained the offensive line play. Maybe go someone like the run game coordinator for the Lions underneath Ben Johnson. Maybe you take him. Defensively, Terrell Williams was poached by the Patriots to be their new defensive coordinator. So maybe Aaron Glenn, again, he has a lot of connections to the Saints. So maybe Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson have a little friendly bidding war on Dennis Allen. That entire coaching staff is going to be different. So maybe one of them can also poach their linebacker coach, their defensive line. Like, there's a bunch of guys that both Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn are all going to be fighting over to promote. And it's going to be very interesting to see who lands where and who stays with who. Because, like I said with Aaron Glenn, I thought Terrell Williams would have followed Aaron Glenn to wherever he went. I said that in my prediction. And offensively, if I remember, let me actually see who I said Aaron Glenn's offensive coordinator would end up being. Best fits for coaches, team. Let's see. Who did I say Aaron Glenn? Yeah, Aaron Glenn. I had offensive coordinator as Scotty Montgomery, the run game coordinator of the Detroit Lions, and Terrell Williams, DC. So Terrell Williams obviously went over to the Patriots. So DC would be open. And for so maybe they go, I don't know, maybe they get Dennis Allen, right? Like, maybe they get Dennis Allen. But, for Aaron Glenn, he's definitely a defensive play caller and a vibes guy, right? Because I think the Jets, just their culture is so toxic that you got to go somewhere different. You know what I mean? Like, you got to change the culture. You got to change how it's feeling with the franchise. Because I think everyone can agree the past year or two have been rough for the Jets. Obviously, last year, I guess in 2023 to 2024, it was Aaron Rodgers. He gets hurt 6 plays in. The season's over, right? Then the next year, you fire your head coach after 3 games, who, he was having a number 1 defense throughout those 3 games. When Jeff Ulbrich takes over, it falls off a cliff, right? So this team has a lot of issues. It'll be interesting to see how they rebound, with the new GM coming in as well. I think they said that the GM is already set in stone, but it's not announced. But Aaron Glenn, he's at to hire a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator, a new special teams guy. I think Aaron Glenn's going to succeed in New York. I think this defense right now has a lot of good pieces, right? Like, we've never seen Aaron Glenn with a premier corner like Sauce Gardner. We have seen him with really good defensive ends, right? Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, Quentin Williams. That's a good defensive line. It'll be interesting to see if they keep that. I think there's a chance they re-sign Jamie and Sherwood with Quincy Williams and CJ Mosley. That's their linebacker core. And it's an all-new secondary. He can do an all-new secondary if he wants to. But Aaron Glenn, I like his scheme. He runs that 4-3 scheme. I'm a very big fan of 4-3, having two defensive tackles on there, 4-3 fire scheme. But the Jets, this was a good move by the Jets, right? I think this was a good move. The one worry I do have, a lot of these guys on this team were Joe Douglas picks. So whenever there's a new regime change, a new schematic change, where it's a new head coach, new GM, new defensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator, guys get cut and traded that you're not expecting to get cut or traded, right? Like, there is a world, let's be honest here, where Aaron Glenn comes in, he brings a new defensive coordinator, and no one on defense fits their defense, right? And yes, there is a little bit of, hey, you gotta, mold your defense to the players that you have. But at the same time, if they don't fit, they don't fit, right? Is there a world where Jermaine Johnson gets traded for like a 3rd, 4th round pick because he just doesn't fit the role that you need him to play? That's a possibility. Or maybe, on offense, maybe Joe Tippmann, who was an okay center for them, and Elijah Vera Tucker, who's still a guard starting for them, doesn't fit what he wants to do on offense. You can trade him. And I think that's an issue that, that every team has to go over eventually, is who fits our scheme. Who do we value more than our scheme, so where we're willing to work out the kinks of, you're not exactly scheme fit, we're going to bring you back, though. I'm very excited, right? Again, I feel like the culture change was needed for the New York Jets. Aaron Glenn, I'm excited for him to come in. I think day one, the run defense will be a top 15, top 12 unit. The offense, we'll see, if Aaron Rodgers does stick around. I think the offensive coordinator will be a really big integral thing to see. Okay, are they going young, right? And they go with a young, fresh offensive coordinator. I think there's a chance that they go a rookie quarterback. Or maybe they even go Jordan Travis. But if they go someone with a little bit more experience, who's maybe even been a head coach before, multiple-time offensive coordinator, that's where I think they're going to keep Aaron Rodgers and try and run it back. But I'm excited to see what Aaron Glenn can do. If you guys, let me know in the comments down below what you think Aaron Glenn's going to be able to do as a defensive coordinator. Again, I think Scotty Montgomery, who is currently the Detroit run game coordinator, is going to end up the offensive coordinator with the Saints. There's a chance he stays in Detroit, right? There's a chance that he gets promoted in Detroit, and he wants to keep Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. But with the Jets, they have Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis. Those are 3 really good running backs. So I think Aaron Glenn shouldn't have an issue with getting an OC and a DC. Lots of talent all around the ball. And I just think this team needed the culture change. And Aaron Glenn is the guy to bring that culture change. So I wish him luck. I wish the Jets luck in that division. It's a really tough division, but it's a winnable division. So if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when I post next. And please, again, go in the comments, go in the description down below, follow my link tree, and follow me on everything you see. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy. You know, this video, obviously I wasn't ready. I already had another video planned for today. But, you know, when Aaron Glenn gets hired, you got to change your plans. So I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Bye.